Hey friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. Today is a rainy day. Typically, I'm not a fan of rainy days, but when I have a project like the one that I have this afternoon, then I welcome a rainy day because I know it will keep me inside doing what I need to get done. And today, I am finally, and when I say finally, this has been like a year in the making. I kid you not. The paint, I was looking at the date that was on the label that comes on the paint, and it is almost a year ago I picked up this chalk paint to redo my end tables, and so I'm gonna go ahead and get that done today. I think I've waited long enough. It's time to refresh those. I'm also going to paint one of my little stools that our seasonal tree is sitting on. So I thought I would just bring you along. I'm not the greatest painter in the world, but I do enjoy refreshing, refurbishing, updating things. That's where I get the most joy in painting. So if I'm gonna have to paint something, I want it to be a project that I can bring new life to. I'll show you a couple of pieces that I have painted in the past, a couple of makeovers. Maybe I'll pop pictures of those up. And then I'm gonna show you the before of these tables, and then you'll be with me through the journey of making them brand new. So let's go. So this is where I'm gonna start today. It's a smaller project, and I probably at least get a coat of paint on maybe all of the two end tables and this stool. But this is a stool that I've had since my kids were, probably since Ella was a baby. I think I used it to sit in front of the bathtub to give her a bath. So it's been in our bathroom for years. I brought it out into our dining room area probably about a year ago, and it matches the floor too much. I've been wanting to paint it white just to brighten it up a little bit. And plus, this is our Easter tree right now, and that sits on the little stool in this corner. So I thought that would look a lot better on a white stool. So we're gonna go ahead and start with that project. So what I'm using today is the Behr Chalk Decorative Paint. This is just the white base, number 7100, and our color is tin white. And what I love about chalk paint is that it's so easy to use. There's not a lot of dry time, and there's not a lot of prep time to your piece. Like, since this isn't a glossy finish, we really don't have to sand it. We can go ahead, and you could use a primer if you wanted to. I haven't in the past, and it's been just fine. Now, what I might do after the project dries is I might go over it with some, I think it's called Annie Sloan wax that we have, just to give it a little bit of a shine. I might distress it a little bit. That's just the fun part about painting and using the chalk paint. So we're just gonna go ahead and get at least one coat on our little stool here. So the first coat is on. Don't look too carefully because it's not perfect. It's not even close. It's just making sure that we get our white paint on. And of course, it's probably gonna take another coat or two to get all the streaks out. But basically, my goal in this first step is just to get all the wood covered. So I believe we have succeeded in that. And I will let this dry for another hour or so, and then we'll come back. And I used a brush. I'm debating on a roller for the second coat. I think I'm going to do the roller for the first coat on the tables just because it's a little bit of a larger area. Smaller pieces are always a little bit harder to get in all the little nooks and crannies, but I'll probably go get a different brush and get some of the corners a little better on the second coat. All right, we're going to try to go ahead and get our first coat of paint on one of our end tables. And I'm just going to go ahead and clean this with a damp cloth just to get any kind of dust off. But you'll see this particular table has a lot of water damage. So, you know, we're just refreshing it. It's not going to be perfect, but I think it's going to look a whole lot better once we're done. To stop here for today because I've got to get dinner ready. We have church tonight, but I did just go ahead and get the first coat on. I tried to get in all the little crevices and things and get those filled. So I know it doesn't look like much right now, but it will. We'll just have to continue this project on another day, but this is what we have so far. So friends, it has been several days later, like maybe even the next week, but we finally got these end tables and that little stool done. And y'all, I could not be happier with the way they have turned out. Now, they were old, they had some water stains on them, and so I knew they wouldn't turn out perfect, but I just love that we were able to use what we have, and we brought new life to these end tables into that stool. And so I'm just finishing up. I'm putting the last coat on this end table, and then the next step is just to distress the wood. Now, you do not have to do this, it's totally optional, but that's one good thing about the chalk paint is that it allows you to really get in there and to remove some of the paint so that you can get that natural distressed look. So before we get to the distressing part, I had to give you one last look at where we started. So here's a nice before and after to remind you. So the way that I have found easiest to distress my projects is by using a little bit of sandpaper. Now I use a heavier grade, and I'm not sure what that number is. I actually pulled it out of Tim's Supply, but I know that it's a little bit of a heavier sandpaper because that's what I found works best to get the paint off. And you'll see I'm just rubbing it along. Now I would recommend, doing it lightly at first. You can always go in and take off more, but I like to get just the edges or anywhere the furniture curves. I just find that those are the areas that is just more appealing to my eye anyway. Now our final step is just to go over our pieces with some furniture wax. I'm using either the Annie Sloan furniture wax or the Waverly wax. I cannot remember, but once I go find my can, I will link that down in the description box below. Just want to say thank you for watching today's video. You guys mean the world to me. I hope that you enjoyed my furniture makeover, and I'd love to have you join me here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos with your friends, and until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, and enjoy the moments you've been given, and I will see you all in the next one.